So I've spent the last week getting to really know this Avid power buffer, mainly because I've had to use it to remove oxidation and then wax a whole 41-foot RV. My experience has been mostly positive with a couple small issues, but let's take things in order. As you can see, it's pretty well packaged with everything fitting into a pretty small box. One of the pads had a little indent, but that eventually came out as I started using it. So it comes with 3 pads and 1 Velcro pad disc. The actual tool feels pretty solid, seems to be built pretty well. The on-off switch is on the top and the speed selection wheel is on the bottom. Don't forget this little white box. It has the wrench, handle bolts, and the replacement brushes, which I don't see any mention of in the manual or the description, but it's nice that they're there. The manual has some useful info on what pads to use for what job and the suggestions for speed settings. The handle is simple to attach, just 2 bolts, 1 on each side. The pad disc is also easy to attach. You simply spin it on, then tighten a little with the included wrench. Excuse the video is a little hard to do on camera. As you probably know, this is a dual action buffer, so as you can see, it spins a little off center. This means it's important to put the pads on as close to the center as possible on the disc to minimize vibrations. I noticed a couple people complaining about that in the reviews of this product, and having used this extensively, the only time I noticed an issue was when I didn't put the pad in the center of the disc. But this is all keeping in mind it is a dual action buffer, so there will be some shake versus a regular one that only spins. So as far as actually using this, I'm very happy with it. The speed and the power it has is more than enough to remove even heavy oxidation. In fact, I didn't even use their recommended settings for oxidation removal because I felt it was a bit too fast. The noise level is well within what I would expect. Here's what it sounds like on a lower setting of about 2. And here it is at about a 4 and a 5 setting. It handles very well in my opinion. I like that I'm able to hold the bottom if necessary to reach those hard to reach places, and I don't have to worry about messing with the trigger. But that being said, in some places where I was up high holding it with one hand and holding onto the ladder with the other, it would have been nice to have that trigger right there so I could switch it on and off easily. Definitely not a deal breaker for me, but just something to be aware of. Now the pads that came with it were hit or miss. The orange pad I used to cut the oxidation handled like a champ. I washed and reused it at least 5 times during the last week, and I feel like it's got a few more uses left in it. The black pad I used for rejects, which is like a wax, only handled 1 use and then the back came off. I feel like since rejects is a thicker product and it's hydrophobic, it is very hard to wash out for reuse. It gets in the back of the pad and I feel like it was affecting the glue and stitching. So for the pads, my verdict is kind of depends on what you're using them for. I like that the base plate is 6 inches and the pads are 7. This allowed me to push up against any corners without worrying about scratching anything with the plate. So my verdict for this product is if you're planning on starting a detailing business or you need to work up high a lot, probably not the best fit. But if you're working on cars, RVs, boats from time to time, this is the perfect tool for the job. It did a very good job on my RV, and the bigger size of the pads, the adjustable speed settings, the abundant power of this thing made this an easier process than it would have been otherwise.